Welcome back to another episode of Figuring It Out, the place where we have real and from the heart conversations. As always, I'm your host, Aggie, and today we're going to be talking about the work of God. Let's figure it out. Welcome back. This episode is really just to put things into right perspective. I notice so many Christians, and I'm a Christian myself, but I notice so many Christians place so much importance around, serving in the choir, being ushers, hosting home groups. And I'm not saying any of that is bad, but I think so many people have been misled into thinking that their everyday life is not a service to God. So things like, raising your children, reading that storybook for your child, taking your child to the playground, cooking a wonderful meal for your family, just being available to have a conversation with your mom, or being kind and generous to your own siblings. People have been given the impression that these things are not primary to God, that they're not important to God. But I just want to remind people that the whole idea of family is an idea that God came up with. The idea of friendship is an idea that God came up with. So when you're being a good friend, it is the work of God. When you're being a wonderful wife, it is the work of God. When you are being a present and encouraging sister, it is the work of God. When you pick up the phone to call your mom, it is the word of God. I mean, it's really a shame that so many people who are, worship leaders, or who are the ushers in the the ushers in the church, are neglecting the need to pick up the phone and just, check in on their parents and say hello, or pay that good old auntie a visit and just cheer her up. Or even when they go home, for instance, to see their parents, they go empty-handed. They are very friendly and very churchy at church, but then their own siblings have not received a hug from them for the longest time. I just want to say, when God created the Garden of Eden, he put a man in there, and then he said it's not good for the man to be alone, and he gave the man a woman for companionship, and for the woman to also be his helper, like to be the partner in crime, so to speak. Maybe don't get that out of context, but for them to partner for the work of God. And so you see that the family, the idea of this small unit, is God's idea. And so every meal that, as Eve, you prepare for Adam, or Adam, every meal that you prepare to share with Eve is the work of God, because it is because of broken families, absent parents, or the neglect of these little but very substantial things, that the church is becoming a very messy place, a place where gossip seems to thrive, fornication seems to thrive, the greed that's happening in churches right now is seeming to thrive, because we have ignored the primary thing, the importance of just being loving and present in the home, filling our homes with laughter, filling our homes with a sense of belonging and enjoyment. We seem to have forgotten that. And I just want to remind you that those little things are the work of God. When you go to the supermarket and you buy that healthy batch of groceries for your family, it is the work of God. When you say thank you to your daughter after she has helped you with the chores at home, that is the work of God, because that encouragement goes a long way in contributing to him or her becoming a great citizen of the world, and just a light and salt. And I think that it is wrong to claim to be salt and light outside of your own home. I'm not saying ignore church. I know church is very fundamental to society. but we need to put things in the right perspective. We need to start in our own homes. We need to understand that we can't compartmentalize God to just, the Sunday service. It really matters what kind of workmate you are. It matters what kind of wife you are. It matters what kind of sister you are. It matters what kind of daughter you are. It matters what kind of mom or dad you are. It is the work of God. And just think about it. So many people, like single people, spend a lot of time praying, God, please give me a husband, give me a husband. And then they get married and they go like, God, please give me children, God, give me children. And so it just doesn't make sense to receive the husband and ignore him, and then later receive the children and not be present for them. I think that would be an oxymoron. So I hope and pray that as you listen to this episode, that you go back to the basics and that you care and you start noticing. And then the other thing is that do not be so obsessed with what needs to happen tomorrow or what you think needs to happen tomorrow that you miss the miracle of what God is doing for you today. So I hope this was helpful, and I hope that it puts things in perspective, and I hope that it boosts you and encourages you to know that your everyday life, like in the minute, in the hour, is the work of God. So if you are mindful about it, if you are intentional about it, there's so much that you can do to just spread his love, to be his light, and to be salt. Thank you for having joined me again. God bless you, and go and shine. Go and shine. There's just so much love to pour out to the people who are around you, and then they will pour to those who are around them, and and then the ripple effect of the love of God will continue, and it will continue so organically, and that's just, I think, how God intended for it to be. God bless you, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.